Before the break, we spoke about floating elements, nesting divs, and positioning elements. Today we're going to open the web layout sample.ai file in Illustrator and have a look at the template for the website. We have 3 tabs at the top, and these become links to other pages in the website. Now, as you can see, this is created completely in Illustrator. If we have a look at the artboard, we can see that there are a series of artboards in this document. If you click on masthead, you can see that there is an artboard for the masthead. Click on home current, another artboard, and again for tips current, which is another tab on the website, select as current and default. These separate documents have all been created by copying this main artboard and cropping down to the actual element that's required. It's very important when you're creating links for websites that the alignment is accurate, so that as you're rolling over the top of a button, the state below it lines up perfectly with it and doesn't move to the left or the right or up and down. Now, there are 2 ways to save web objects out of Illustrator. One is to save for web and devices, and the other is to save slices. Today we're going to look at saving for web and devices, and we're going to save out the link states for the buttons. We're going to duplicate the default button to create a hover state. At the moment we've got 4 buttons. We've got one for home, CSS tips, selectors. We have a default button, but we don't have a hover state. So we need to create a hover state. And to do that, we're going to use the artboard tool by clicking on the artboard tool. By holding down Option and Shift, you can drag a copy of the artboard and constrain it and position it directly below the one you've copied from. To release the artboard tool, you can choose Escape on the keyboard or just click on the selection tool. Now we want to give this hover state a name, so I'm going to again hold Shift and Option to constrain the movement, and I'm going to make a copy of that word default. Double click on the actual word to engage your cursor. Control or Command and A to select the entire word, and then type over the top of it. Just type hover, and that will define that this is now going to be the hover state. The next thing we need to do is to change the appearance of the hover state so that it looks different as we're hovering over the top of it. To do that, we're going to use our color swatches. I have changed my view to web view in Illustrator, and you can see that I have some global swatches in my swatches palette. If you want to delete your extra colors in your swatches palette and just reduce them down to the ones that you want to use, you can shift select the colors you do not want and choose on the trash can, or you can choose select all unused colors and delete them. I might delete this palette as well, so I'm just left with my global swatches. And you know that when you create a global swatch, you can actually create tints from that color. So I'm going to use my direct selection tool, A on the keyboard, and I'm going to select the inside of this grouped object, and I'm going to choose another color for the fill. Now I need to make sure that my stroke is turned off and that I'm actually activating my fill. You can do that from 2 places. You can do it from at the top here, or you can do it from the bottom here of your toolbox. So I have selected a darker color, but I would like to tint it back. So now I'm going to reduce the strength of this color to about 50%, which you can also do by typing into this window.